What's up, everybody? It's Cameron again with some more Dead by Daylight content, and this time I wanted to make a video about explaining the toxicity angles in Dead by Daylight. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard already how toxic this game can be, so I kind of wanted to break it down from my standpoint as I've started to play not only Survivor, but also Killer, and what I've actually seen and determined to really be toxic, and what the community has kind of just strewed their own way into what they think is toxic. So here we go, guys. If you see me looking at my screen, it's to keep myself on track. So to start, of course, I'm a 562-hour player, so I'm still fairly new to the game. I've been playing since last November. About 500 hours in Survivor solely, so I know a lot of the Survivor angle, and the rest of my hours I put into Killer, and I've already learned a lot and done a lot of research with that, guys. I've scoured the internet for research and what people think is toxic. I've read forums, I've watched videos, countless videos. I've asked my very large Discord server, my members in there, what they think is toxic and what's not. And these are the opinions and more facts I would consider that I've gathered along the way. So to go into this, guys, for the video, we're going to start with the Survivor toxicity angles, guys. Slugging. Every Survivor thinks slugging is toxic. And we'll get into this later, so don't jump the gun thinking that I'm crazy. Guys, slugging is a way that killers genuinely want to win the game. Now, I don't necessarily agree with it personally. If you watch my streams, I always admit to my followers, I don't ever want to slug. I don't want to be that guy. I think it takes away the sport of the game. I love a good chase with a good survivor. But hey, if a killer wants to win and they can slug and they can get the win, then they're going to do it. And from what I've seen playing killer is survivors a lot of times give that out. They give the killer a chance to slug, and we're just doing ourselves a disservice, guys. Don't let the killer have a chance to slug you, because 9 times out of 10 they'll take it because they want to win. You know, survivors, you want to win. Killers, we want to win too when we play, or when I play killer. So I've experienced both sides of it, guys. Tunneling, this is another one. A lot of people hate being tunneled. They hate being the first one out while they have to watch their friends for potentially the next 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, guys, I get it, but when you're playing killer, there's so many reasons of why you could want to tunnel. If you know only one person on their team is good at looping, I'm sorry, you're probably going to get tunneled right off the hook, because the killer's not going to let you get healed, so you have to take 2 hits, and they're not going to let you get to a point of the map where you can tunnel them. I experienced this today going against a Pyramid Head. I looped him for like 4 gens at the kill shack. Right after that, he made sure I was dead, and everybody else got out alive. So tunneling, guys, it is a genuine strategy of a killer. I'm a little bit guilty of this myself when I play killer, but not too bad. If I see somebody that's maybe not a strong looper, it just kind of makes sense to go for them and get them out of the game, because it's a numbers game at the end. If I have 4 survivors, they're going to get out a lot quicker than if I take 1 out and there's only 3. So, I mean, that can kind of go both ways, but tunneling really is more of a killer strategy and not really meant to be toxic. And we'll get into that a little bit later on the other side of things. Hook camping. Guys, I will say, as a survivor main, please don't rush getting your friends off the hook if they're on first hook. They have a timer for a reason. There's no reason to do that. They can sit there for a while you guys work on gens and get ready. Realistically, 3 people should be working on a generator while the first guy's on his first hook. But I can't tell you how many times I see in my solo lobbies where everybody immediately wants to go for the first hook, which can create a slugging situation too. So hook camping, myself as a killer, if I see you running to get your friend off the first hook immediately, like, yeah, I'm gonna be there still. It's too easy, and the killers get notifications when you unhook people. Like, it's just free, guys, and if they want to win, they're gonna do that. So, and we'll get into the other side of that later too, guys. So don't jump the gun, keep watching the video, guys. We're gonna go over everything here. Okay, so now this is what I've considered to be, and from the majority of people I've actually heard, what is actually toxic to survivors that killers do. Slugging to bleed out and BMing the whole time. Obviously, this is why Behavior made a whole patch about this to fix this. Guys, there's nothing worse than when a killer used to slug you all and just watch you bleed out and teabag you and hump you, and oh man, that was so aggravating. I'm so glad they put in the abandon option, which I've already had to use after killers have 4 slugged. I just think that was terrible for the game. I don't know why killers do that. I can't believe people get this power trip from doing that. To me, I just want to get in and out of game as fast as possible and keep racking up the blood points. So yeah, that is actually toxic. And of course, they did something to fix that, so it's a bit better now. Not perfect yet, but you know, I'm sure they're getting there. Okay, let's see what else. Hitting bodies on the hook. If you have a killer hook you and the killer is just hitting your body on the hook maybe once or twice, that's actually toxic. And you can tell because that's wasting the killer's own time when they can go get somebody else on a hook. But they would rather BM you and make sure they know that they got you. That's toxic, killers. I'm just letting you know that right now. I never do that. Targeting. So now with targeting, this is going to come from more of if you can pretty much tell the killer has something against you, whether it's having TTV in your name. And I know sometimes this is a little bit more debatable because you can't always tell, is he targeting me or does he just not, you know, if they just want to go for me because I'm an easy kill. So it could be different things, guys. But basically, if it's like maybe you have TVTV in your name, if you're playing certain characters, like I know some killers like to prioritize like killing sables or killing Dwights or something like that. Like that's pretty toxic. If it could be proven and the killer's doing that, that's definitely toxic. In a lot of the toxicity videos I've been watching online, I've seen that killer mains will kind of BM and target characters with pride charms and pride flags. I think that's really wrong, obviously, on a lot of levels. It's best to be an all-inclusive gaming community that accepts all, and to do stuff like that is just really toxic. And I've seen and heard audio of people doing that. That is so wrong. That's probably one of the most toxic things you can do as a killer. So if you're a killer main, don't do that. When killers shake your head, or when a killer shakes their head at you, like after getting you after a chase, that's toxic because they're wasting time. They're going out of the way to show you, look, I got you, I'm better than you. Don't do that, bro. Just pick them up and put them on a hook. Like, who cares? Like, move on to your next victim. That's so weird. Body blocking in corners. Now, if you guys remember the 2v8 mode, it was really bad. Having 2 killers body block you just to get you, that was really toxic. But a single killer can do it too. If they find you in a good spot of the map and in a good corner, y'all, this is incredibly toxic. Especially when they're not hitting you, they just want to keep you there in that corner and make you miserable. That is like so bad. I don't know how they can fix unit collision with that, but that is definitely something really toxic that killers can do. Okay, and honorable mention here that I didn't want to put it in the list, but I think is worth mentioning, is when a killer camps the hatch, because that can also be used as a strategy too, because they want you to find the hatch, so that way they can see your body and you get revealed, and then they close it and they go and they kill you and the game's over. And also, when a killer takes you to a hatch, and this is a little bit more niche, but when a killer takes the last survivor to a hatch, closes it right on top of them, and then mories them, that is genuinely toxic. But the only reason why I didn't put it in the list is because I feel like that happens more rare than you think. Like, that is such a waste of time. Killers, like, what are y'all doing? That is just crazy. And I can say that because I play killer now and I understand both sides of the story. Okay, so now I want to go on to the next part of the video. What is genuinely toxic about what killers experience? Now, this list is a little bit shorter, but there are still some things that are very aggravating as playing killer that just make you want to pull your hair out, and they're just genuinely frustrating. So for killer toxic angles, these are things that killer mains think are toxic, but they're genuinely not because they're used as technique. Remember that there's a difference between toxicity and technique here. Killer toxic angles would be hook sabotaging. If you're taking somebody's friend to a hook and they have the kit to do it, of course they're going to sabo the hook. I mean, if I can save my friend and they can wiggle off if they're taking a wiggle build, like, I'm gonna do it. Like, especially if they're on death hook, I'm gonna do whatever I can to save them and potentially sacrifice myself. So that's definitely technique. Flashlighting. I've heard a lot of people when they play killers say they will immediately be toxic to survivors if they have flashlights. Guys, I mean, first of all, killers, you have a perk that completely eliminates that, and 2, obviously behavior is not deemed it toxic, and they give those items to survivors for a reason, and that's to blind you, to save their teammates, to waste your time after you break a pallet. It's a part of the game. It's a technique. I'm sorry, it sucks. I don't run Lightborn. I get blinded all the time and it sucks, but you learn from it and you get better, and you learn how to handle people. You learn how to pick your head up when you're carrying survivors, or turn towards a wall so they can't get in front of you. There's ways around it, guys. And gen rushing, this seems to be a little bit of a newer one in the killer community that came out, and I've seen it in multiple places, so I definitely thought it was worth mentioning. Gen rushing, I don't know why a killer main would think that's toxic. Survivors just want to get out of the game, so it's actually better when they gen rush so they can get out of the game, instead of just standing around not doing anything. That's the name of the game. They have to do gens, they have to get out. If you are chasing one survivor and you see 3 gens pop, that's good on the survivors. They did what they're supposed to do, instead of hyper focusing on one generator. I saw this video where this guy was talking about the survivors were speedrunning the game, so he's like, well, I'm gonna speedrun the game too, and I'm gonna slug all of them. Like, why would you get so salty at that? They're playing the game the way it's supposed to be. That's how you know you're going against higher level survivors, is when they're just knocking out them gens, because that's the name of the game. So those are just obviously killer's perspective toxic angles, but I wouldn't genuinely consider that really toxic. Now, what's actually toxic when you play killer, and I've seen this more than I care to admit, even in my short time of playing killer, and it drives me insane, and it makes me want to slug them so bad, but I don't do it. Group body blocking. When you pick up a survivor and you see like 3 people blocking you and you can't see them and you're wondering, why can't I move? There's nothing more aggravating than that. The survivors are wasting their own time when they could be doing generators and maximizing their time. They just want to waste your time and bully you. Group body blocking is pretty, I think, pretty bad. Now, if it's just one person trying to body block you so they can take a hit and then go sabo the hook, that's a little bit more technique. But when everybody's crowding you, they just want to make your life hell. I'm sorry, that's toxic, Survivor. So please don't do that. To go into our second point here, guys, teabagging as survivors and emoting, whether it's pointing or telling the killer to come here, that's obviously toxic. There's no reason for that. That's just wasting your own time. I can't tell you how many times I've been in chases with survivors where they just want to teabag me after they get a pallet stun off. I'm like, dude, you could have gotten so much distance off of this. Now I'm going to break the pallet and catch you. And that would drive the killer with not a good mental to want to just completely tunnel you out of the game. So don't do that, guys. Don't be toxic to the killers. Playing killer, especially as a new killer player, is not easy. Whole different angle. I'll have to make that a different video another day as I'm starting killer out and how I feel about it. But yeah, it's really not easy, guys. It's 1 against 4, and if you're a good, well-coordinated group of survivors, the odds are not in the killer's favor most of the time. Last point, guys, is going to be point number 3 for the killers. What's actually toxic: not doing gens and wasting time / trolling / standing still, you know, things like that. Hiding in lockers to hide from the killer and waste time. I think that's toxic and ruins it even for your survivor friends. I can tell you, when I load into a game, and I've experienced this both as a killer player and a survivor player, when everybody's taking no mither and has sabotage builds and they're not doing generators and they're trying to go down just to waste your time, I can see that being just like the most aggravating thing ever for a killer player, guys, because y'all aren't doing the objective. You're there just to waste the killer's time for 20 minutes and make their life miserable. Like, that's just not fun for anybody, you know? And then you have like no mither or unbreakable or whatever you want to put in there just to keep picking yourself up so they can't slug you. Like, if you're not doing the objective and you're just there to bully somebody online, that is genuinely a really toxic thing that survivors can do, guys. So those are our big points there that we kind of went over. The last thing I want to talk about is the community and how we can get better. Of course, with a competitive game like this, everybody's always going to say, oh, killer's easier and they're toxic, and killers are going to say, oh, survivor's so easy and they're toxic. And it's a constant battling of balancing for behavior, and I have to give them credit for how well they've been able to do over time. I've seen videos of how this game used to be in the past where it genuinely was killer sided, or genuinely was really badly survivor sided, and I can definitely see that they're trying, guys. I feel like it's just a happy medium that's going to constantly teeter back and forth, and it's never going to be perfect, but we can do our part, guys. We can, you know, if you see there's TTVs in your lobby, no point in going and BMing them in their chats, whether it's survivor to survivor or killer to survivor or vice versa. You know, not complaining and posting all your content about, oh, this guy's a trash killer because he slugged all of us, when in reality it is a technique. It's not one that I do and I personally care for, but it is a technique. We can do our own part to keep this community as non-toxic as possible. Of course, that'll never happen completely because people on the internet are mad, and it is what it is. But we want this game to be around for a while, guys. If you're a survivor main, unfortunately, you need killers. You don't have this game without killers, so be nice to your killers. If you're a killer, you need survivors to play this game, or you're going to go against bots, and that's not fun. So be nice to your survivors. We want to encourage growth in good players. Survivors, hold yourselves accountable to not do silly things to get yourself tunneled out and killed super early. And killers, don't BM good survivors when they're actually doing the right thing, whether it's doing generators, getting successful flashlights or sabotages, or even looping you really well. Like, that's what the game's about, guys. It's competitive, and it just, if one way's too stronger than the other, whether it's the survivors are too good or the killer's too good, it's just not fun and the game's over too quick. So I think we can all do our part, and definitely if you're only a killer or only a survivor player, I strongly encourage you to play the other side. Completely changes your mind and it makes you a better player, so it's a win-win. So yeah, guys, let's you know, let's try to keep toxicity out as much as possible. I hope the way I've explained this to you has kind of summed everything up. If you like the content, please feel free to follow me on my links and come watch me stream Dead by Daylight on Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. And yeah, thank y'all so much for your time, and I can't wait to see y'all in the fog hopefully someday. Thank you.